recommend to trap out of?
Well, I've run flat bottom. That's what most people use. Seem like flat bottom on the smaller water, especially the smaller lakes and rivers. Mississippi, you may want to run something bigger and wider. My boat is I think it's 16 by 5 foot at the top. You can get by with a pretty small motor, depending on how much you're going to run. I mean, if you're going to run a lot of miles, you need at least 25 horse. That'd be cheap on gas. I really like my Yamaha, but everybody's got their own notion about boats, I don't, on a trapping boat, or I do a little netting and stuff, I don't want no kind of cavils, no kind of hooks and hangers and trolling motors out, because they just get in the way, they get tangled up, get in the brush, especially for trapping. So I try to get rid of all that stuff, and organization is real important. You need to make you some boxes that'll fit in there, maybe even attached to the sides in some manner, screw them some plywood all the way across or something where you can put, you got your footholes in one, your conibears in one or two, your stakes, you need a special box for them. If you're running drowner cables, you need to have several of them different lengths. I like to use sandbags, old army sandbags, or that they use when they flood and stuff. You can carry them, they don't weigh nothing. You get where you're going, you can scoop up mud, gravel, odd-shaped rocks. I used to use them under bridges, and you can just, I've even put beer bottles in them. It's something handy. And I just pour them in there and tie it shut, and run the wire through the top of the bag, not around it, so it don't slip off. Twist it up, and you got your instant drowner rig. If you got your cables already rigged up, it makes it real fast and efficient. But I like the quick links or the quick snaps to attach your traps and your snares to. If you use a short enough snare, you can even put them on drowner rigs if you got deep water.
Yep.
Yeah.
As far as safety wise, recommend personal flotation device?
Absolutely. A guy needs to get a comfortable life jacket that you feel secure with, and you really need to wear it, because most trappers run with themselves, and even if somebody's with you, if he's up on the bank trying to make a set, you're down there in the boat, you fall in cold water, you ain't got long. You're going to get real cold real fast. And if you bump your head, especially if you're by yourself, you may get knocked out, fall over and hit a beaver stump or something like that. I think you really need to be cautious about that, and try not to chance it. Definitely. It wouldn't hurt if a guy would wear at least hip boots, if not chest waders. Now, with chest waders, you got to be careful, especially if you don't wear a life jacket. You can get bottom side uppers and can't get turned over. And there's been some guys drowned like that. So I definitely, the idea of the chest waders, I went in the river in '69. I had to swim out about 100 yards drag my boat out because I was on the wrong side of the river. Anyway, I was running traps that day, and if I had no chest waders, I'd probably got hypothermia real quick. So when I got to the bank, I just pulled them down, drained as much water as I could out, pulled them back up, walked down the river and got my buddies, and they come back and retrieved the boat. Some guys come and helped us back across the river. But that kept the wind off of me, is guess where I'm getting to. And I also had pants and long johns on underneath there. So wool is best, because wool still insulates even when it's wet. Some of this capilene, some of the other stuff may too. You can check that out. But the wind has a whole lot to do with that. Of course, once you get wet, you don't want to get back in the water because you lost your insulation altogether. But those waders will help you a little bit till you can either go get dry clothes. A lot of times I carry a change of coveralls in a plastic bag, double bag, in a box on the boat, just in case, because it ain't the only time I fell in the water. And you're going to be a ways from home. You always are. You're going to be up a slough or up a creek, out on the river. The guy needs to be careful. I believe you need some kind of a hook. It's not real sharp on the end, just something to retrieve drowned animals, or pull up your drowned rig. Say you get a big rain, the water comes up, you need a hook with at least a 6-foot handle. They're just great to have in there, and you got a little put you a little place up behind the box to lay it or something, so you don't step on the tire boot.
Right.
Other things, you probably ought to carry a boot repair kit with you, because you can sometimes get out there on the bank, scrape them down, get them down to dry rubber, and patch your boots so you can go on and finish out the day. Ain't nothing like wet feet on trap line.
Absolutely. What kind of sets do you put in, like, are the animals you're trapping, that y'all do?
Well, mostly, of course, beaver's the main thing on the river, beaver and otter. And back, of course, when coons were a decent price, we trapped a lot of coons with dog proofs, just regular old footholds and drowning sets. The coon is not, he's not that hard to kill if you get him in some water and keep that belly wet for a few hours. He'll croak from hypothermia. But yeah, we trapped a little bit of everything. Used a few conbears for meat. Those little dim trails up on the bank, find those little grassy trails 2 inches wide. You catch a few rabbits, which is always good for bait, maybe a squirrel or two, but you're going to catch some mink up on them banks and little trails.
All right. On your motors that you use, what kind of motors have you used mostly?
I've used an Evinrude. I've had an old Johnson. I had a Mercury. I've got a 25 Yamaha now, and I really like it. It's pretty easy on gas. And tilt and trim. Boys, if you haven't got a hydraulic tilt, it's going to wear you out because you spend a lot of time in shallow water. Because some of those best places are going to be skinny water, and you just got to get back in there. And that tilt really helps. I finally got one for mine, and I love it. Especially when I'm doing limb lines and stuff in the summer, I get up to some pretty good places that most guys don't go. And that's the same thing with trapping.
Right. Have you ever used a Go Devil type motor?
I owned a Fisher Beaver tail, had a 20-horse Honda built. I built it after I got the kit frame and everything. I think they're out of business now. I think the guy that owns Backwater used to work for the Fisher Brothers when they was in business up in Minnesota. I run that for about 15 years and sold it to my buddy's son, and they use it for bow fishing at night mostly. And I run that thing, and I have had a lot of fun. I've hit no telling how many thousand stumps, and it still had the original prop on. They're a heavy-duty stainless prop, and they'll take a lot of punishment. And rocks are a little hard on them. You got to touch that prop up with a file once in a while if you're in the rocks. Even fresh logs, if you get in some hardwood and stuff, it's going to beat it up a little bit, but it won't put nicks in it like, if you hit that. I've hit sunken refrigerators, rebar and crap people have dumped in the river, but yeah, that is the ultimate. The only thing with the long tails, like the Go Devils and the Backwater on it, most of them don't have reverse. So you're gonna have to carry a pole, a duck bill on it. You're gonna have to carry a paddle, something you can push out with. Once you run one for a while, a lot of times you can learn. You get up a creek so far and you're ready to turn around, you can push into a flimsy root or a sapling that's hanging down the water or something, and you'll learn to push into that and get it started to the side, and you shove down your motor, it raises that prop out of the water, and it'll coast around. Then you push back into it, you just keep doing that. You kind of run into it, back up, run into it, back up, and eventually get turned around. I've been up places at Beach Scenario, it might only be 20 foot wide. I just have to get out and wait and turn it around. But that's the honey holes. That's where you're going to do your best. And you put them crossing logs, and I use snares on them. The biggest bobcat I ever caught was on a crossing log with a snare.
Okay. Let's see. Now, what would you recommend for some of the equipment you carry as far as beaver wise?
Well, I live near a navigation system, so the water goes up and down almost daily. It's really hard to foothold trap, and particularly here in Arkansas, we can only go up to about 6 inches on dry land. So that kind of hurts you on trying to catch beaver, especially the back foot. So you got to put your traps, and big traps have to go in the water, and if that water comes up a foot and a half, that's going to mess you up. So we use a lot of 330s in the edge of the water. If it's in the water, when you set it, you're legal. you may come back tomorrow and there'll be 3 and 4 inches of water over the top of it. So usually put a diving stick on there and anchor it some way so beaver still might dive under it. So if it does get completely submerged. I know some states you have to submerge it at 330s, but we can get by with them half under. Anything from 220 up, we have to put it in the water. Can't set them up on the bank at all.
All right. Mr. Dub, I appreciate it.
You bet. Glad to